Yeah, Retro Steam Tech's workshop has a new tool. This little baby here. Now this is a Kennedy Model 60 Power Hacksaw. These are actually often referred to as the Kennedy Hexacut. And there's a bit of a story behind this. Until about 2 months ago, I'd never even heard of these. However, towards the end of August, I was lucky enough to spend some time in Cornwall at my favourite place, the Launceston Steam Railway, and I've done quite a few videos on the Launceston Steam Railway. Check them out. Anyway, while I was there, I was sat outside the coffee shop chatting away to the legendary Nigel Bowman, who along with his wife Kate owns and runs the Launceston Steam Railway. So anyway, he says, I have something you might be interested in, and he gets up, nips into the workshop and comes back with one of these. Now, his one was considerably older than this, and in serious need of some restoration. But he had several of these in the past and used them many times, and he was just sort of telling me all about them. And he said they're pretty much cut through anything up to about 2 inches in diameter. Anyway, so since I was absolutely fascinated by this thing, and since then I've been on the lookout for one. They don't come up very often on eBay, and when they do, they normally go for quite a lot of money. But anyway, I was lucky enough to win the auction for this one. Now, if anyone has watched any of my videos on the Warco lathe, which is this thing in the background here, you know that I have a very small workshop. In fact, it is my kitchen. So what attracted me to this thing was its small size. Yeah, and it is very small. Here's a can of Red Bull, which will give you some idea of the overall size of the thing. And also, it's portable. Let me just pull back out on it a bit so you can get some idea of the size. You can see the end of the lathe there, and there's also a clock, sanding wheel and belt sander on the end of the bench, so you can get some idea of the size. And of course, it's also portable. It actually has a carrying handle here. Now, I'm not particularly strong, but you can two-handed, you can lift this thing. So it is actually portable. So yeah, that's another reason why I like this. Right, well, let's have a bit of history. These were first produced in 1954. Yep, 1954. The original version of this model came with a 1/6 horsepower Hoover electric motor. The blade's a standard 12-inch 24 TPI hacksaw blade, but it's just been snapped in half, so effectively it's 6 inches long. And it's held in place by these clamps here, which are just little bits of metal tapped, and they take a couple of Allen screws. This one's much later. You can date them by a couple of factors. One, the original one had a Hoover motor. This one has got a Lemac motor, which means that it was made considerably later. The original one had a simple on-off switch. This one has got the no voltage release solenoid built into it, so that makes it later. And also it's been painted the pale blue colour, which was indicative of the later models. But there's other things about this, which is just, I just love the design. It's so simple, but brilliant. Basically, the motor here drives this belt, this pulley, the big pulley here, via a flat belt. That in turn drives a crank, which is in here, which operates this reciprocating arm, which operates the saw frame. Very, very, very straightforward, very simple. The downward pressure is applied by this spring. There's a spring in here, and the frame's movement up and down is damped. You probably can't see it, but round the back here. Actually, I'll turn it round. Why don't you turn it round, Alan? That's a damn good idea. There you go, view from the other side. Now, the up and down movement is damped by this oil-filled dashpot here, which just literally damps out the whole thing. Now, you have a thumb-operated rod here, which is basically, if you lift this up, this rocker here basically latches the saw up in the up position, and then to release it, you lift it up slightly, press. Let me pull out a bit. Press on this thumb operated sprung rod, and that will simply knock this rod out the way. So if I do it for you, you can see that. Lift it up slightly, press that, knocks the rod, and then that will allow you to lower the saw into the cutting position. All very simple, but very, very effective. And of course, it comes with its own built-in vise to clamp the work in place, which is excellent. I'll turn it back around because there's another feature which I really like on this, which is on the other side. Yeah, it has a very crude, but again effective, auto stop once the cut is finished. This is the on-off switch, and the on position is up like that, and it won't stay there because there's no power on it at the moment, and that's what the no voltage release does. But normally it would be in that position when it's on. So of course what happens is as it comes down on the cut, this steel bar here with the rubber bit on the end, it gets to the bottom of the cut, and this will then knock the switch off. Very crude, but it works. It works superbly. So no, it's as I said, it's all very basic, but it works, and it's an extremely effective tool. So right, let's see it going then. Okay, well, we've got a bit of brass round bar, about 1/2 inch, clamped in the vise, and we'll turn it on. And there we go. Yeah, it's quite loud, as you can hear, but seems to be going through the brass quite nicely. Right, I've jumped through to near the end, it's nearly there, and I'm going to pull back out so you can see the auto cut off here work when it's finished the cut. Job done. Look at that. Isn't that perfect? Now, I obviously cut the shot between the cuts, because it did actually take a few minutes to cut through that bit of brass, and there's no point in boring you with all of that. However, as you can see, it's certainly on. I mean, I haven't tried it on steel yet, but certainly on that's the second bit of brass that I've actually cut, and it's you know, it does a really nice job. There's nothing wrong with that at all. That's absolutely fine. So anyway, I thought you might like to see that. This is going to get a load of work in my shop, and I'm really pleased to have it. So there you go, Kennedy Model 60 Power Hacksaw, probably circa 1970s. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video, and thanks as always for watching.